It's a thing.
Yeah, I'm here. In about 2.5 minutes, I need to run, take my pizza out of the oven, but I don't actually need to cut it and eat it right now. So 2 minutes.
Well then, first things first, could I get a perception roll from everyone?
Is this visually based?
Yes, visual perception roll.
I got 1 in 3 odds there. That's pretty much right.
Well then, Truthsayer is the only one to see this again. A little bug on the water catches your eye. Second glance, and you can see that the thing's electronic. It's shiny.
Bug on the water? I can I can see this from like inside the bolt hole, like there's a window or something I'm looking out at.
Well, the most of the building is underwater. There's essentially a little thing where you can stick your head up and climb out. It's sometimes a little wet, but it's decent enough. Sticking your head out for whatever reason, it has a hatch that closes over so water doesn't pour in or anything. Sticking your head out for whatever reason, some point you see this, and almost as soon as you seem to focus on it, it just goes underwater.
So it's not just a bug, it's a submarine.
Well, I guess because everyone else's tokens are over here, that means everyone else, for whatever crazy reason, somehow happened to be here too.
I know Twitch came last time.
Right, but there was a significant passage of time which occurred, like 12 hours or something.
Well, that's where everyone's tokens is. That's where there are.
Truthsayer poked his head out to maybe stare at the water and look angrily at it while, he was staunching the blood flow from his eye.
But still flowing after a day.
Yeah. And I'm just observing the horizon of the wonderfully pretty and illustrious water out there. He'll actually say out loud to himself, just like quirking his head, like, is that a... And he'll call down the ladder, I think I just saw a bug that's a submarine, guys!
Are you sure you didn't hurt yourself anymore with those spells?
Just dived underwater!
Okay.
There. Goes back down the ladder, closes the hatch. Climbs down it, all the while calling down, I don't suppose there's another tag on the damn rabbit that we didn't find that we might need to know about, is there?
Well, if we didn't find it, how would we know about it?
The same way we knew about the tag that was on the girl. Because someone else told us.
We didn't find that secondary comlink either, did we? Not until it was way too late.
You invited anyone here, did you?
Oh yeah, I thought that, my entire gaming clan could show up here. No!
Truthsayer can make a magical lore or whatever, magical knowledge check you have.
Magical theory. Alright. I don't suppose this pertains to sorcery, does it?
In this particular case, not specifically.
Right.
Well, one thing that immediately jumps to his mind is if the rabbit has any ongoing magical connections to something, he could be traced via that, such as if he's helped set up a ward, or if he's done any sort of magic that lingers for a long time.
That's true. Trusair didn't think about that because his player didn't think about that. Which case, as Trusair finished his descending, he'll say, well, in that case, since no one else is volunteering anything, it's possible the damn rabbit has been tracked through some other spell or sorcery that he cast in the past. And that is how he's been found. And as such, we should prepare ourselves for any sort of hostilities that might be coming from. Trusair points out with a gloved hand.
The rabbit is still unconscious, by the way, and has been for about 24 hours.
I guess I'll go up and keep watch. Twitch will climb up top and start slowly scanning the horizon with image magnification.
Coyote will send his Kanmushi up to scan the other direction, whichever opposite direction Twitch is looking at.
Well, both of you will see that drone occasionally pop up somewhere else and then immediately sink back down.
Can Twitch take pot shots at it?
Go ahead and give me one roll unaimed at medium range, which is a -3.
It's a -2 with
Oh, you have the image, and that is that is automatic, right?
Yeah, it's the improved rangefinder.
Yeah. Okay.
The image magnification won't work against a moving target.
Right. So go ahead. It's at a -2 then for you.
Gold glitch. Damn it.
Well, it immediately sinks back out of the way as soon as you take the shot and doesn't resurface.
Smart.
Too smart.
Dangerously smart.
Shot up there. Did you manage to get an eye on it?
Yeah, I saw it. Took the shot. Missed.
Well, there's no value that's going to be gained by lingering around here. Rabbit Head. Vice and Coyote are down there, so Trusair will definitely depict a disdainful look. Has the information we want. The only thing I can think of right now is to blackmail him through that Angels and Demons bar you just told me about, Vice.
Seems like an idea. I mean, what, doesn't his, like, Catherine Mays?
Okay, allow me to clarify. Vice figured out about where the bar was, explained it, and Truthsayer figured out about where the bar was, explained the description of it, and Vice knew the bar, probably from some run because it's not exactly a place he'd normally go. And he knew that the girls who owned it name was Mays, last name Mays. That's all he knew off the top of his head. And those dossiers were what you get if you spent about 5 or 10 seconds looking up information. Just, pulling out Comlink and looking up, hey, does someone named Mays own a bar over here? And that's the extent. Oh, and you do know Truthsayer did figure out that the bunny's last name is Mays.
And as for the bar itself, after like 5 or 10 seconds of basic research, like any of the characters in this team could easily figure out, they're prominent people. Look at the P 2.0 statistics. The pedo.
They are quite famous.
They are quite the pedos.
Ew, gross.
Pretty much. So yeah, do we try and use them as leverage, or... What's the plan here?
It's our current best idea right now. It's either that or go back down to south of Escondido and mill around the base doing long-term surveillance to attempt to find other outposts or attempt to somehow figure out the information another way. We have this rabbit. We can attempt to make use out of it, using whatever means are at our disposal. It's just one idea based upon this. Of course, given the proprietor and apparently their fame, using them as leverage is going to be an adventure all on its own, but it's something.
I'm not against going to use these other folks as leverage, but what do we do with Rodent Boy here while we do that? Are we taking him with us? Is somebody staying behind to watch him?
Given my condition and my familiarity with it, I think I would be the best applied to actually remind it of how it failed by revealing information about his family to us. And if anyone attempts to come in through the hatch to do more than just observe, I'm capable of handling the situation as they would be essentially walking into an ambush.
I can leave some drones behind with the order to protect as well, if you think that's necessary.
You probably won't be able to take them into such a high-class establishment, so... Truthsayer shrugs. You're the wheelman.
All right. I will assume... I'm trying to figure out if he brought the Doberman with him. I'm not sure if he would have. But he'll leave the newly repaired rotodrone there to defend the place while they're gone, with orders to shoot anyone unless Truthsayer tells it not to, basically.
So, you can probably just slave it to his comlink instead. Or you can leave it on commands to only accept from yours.
Right. I'll swap it over there for the time being and say, here you go. The orders are these. Change them if you feel the need. And the softs that will be on that are going to be, the basics, maneuver, aerial, defense, The one for its weapon. What?
You can go ahead and write that in its notes so that you always have it, what its standard software package is listed.
Right. The basics is that it's going to be a -1 response for all the stuff. It has 5 on it, but it has a basics. I'll write that in at some point.
Well then, Truth said what he plans on doing, and
Yep.
so what exactly do the last 3 of you plan on doing? And
guess
how do you go about it?
Guess we're going to that upscale bar place to see if we can find Catherine Mays.
Yeah. I mean, what is the actual plan? How are we going to use them as leverage? That's important.
Actually, feel free to come up with something instead of just trying to data mine people.
I don't know how Catherine Mays will react if we say we have her son. So I'm not even certain we could talk to her, let alone get into the place.
Well, I mean, the goal isn't exactly to blackmail them, it's to blackmail the rabbit. I mean, we don't exactly think they can give us any information in the Angels and Demons bar about what we're looking for to complete the Shadowrun. It's the damn, it's the mage we already have.
So what do you guys think? I'm not exactly sure what to do now.
I don't know either.
Well, we could basically our face man is sitting here guarding the captive. I was going to say we could try to go in there and sweet talk him to make up a story, but I know I can't do that.
I'm not exactly the most charismatic person here as well. How about you, Twitch? Can you sweet talk some people?
I mean, I guess, but what are we after? We're trying to get this guy to tell us who's funding his little group, right? What are we going to get from his family to do that? What's the goal?
We might be able to get some known associates of this guy from his what was it, his sister or something? I can't even remember. The whoever's at that bar that he knows. I mean, we don't have to do the heavy-handed blackmail approach right away. It might come to that though.
Alright, so we go in, we start asking questions about his known associates. Do we come at it pretending we're cops? Like we're friends trying to look out for him?
could. We could go in there and feign concern and say, we haven't seen him in a while, and see if they had any idea. I might tip him off, though. It all depends on how suspect any questions about him will be, and given his proclivities, it might be even bringing up his name will set off alarm bells, or his description.
True. We actually don't even know how well his relationship with his mother and sister is.
Right, I mean, Truthsayer said, that he's fond of his mother, but we don't know anything else.
I don't think that was said. The only extent of the information of which you got to that place is him walking, Truthsayer remembering him walking there at some point during his almost sort of broken up memories / dreams during his apparent coma.
I thought that positive emotions for his mother were also something that came up.
Well, I guess they weren't.
I may have mentioned it. I may also have mentioned negative emotions. He's kind of in the middle of hallucinating most of this stuff right now.
I'm just having a hard time thinking what we could actually do at the bar. Well, we could do a lot of stuff. I'm just trying to think of anything that would be helpful.
Alternatively, we could put this lead on the back burner, try and get a hold of some high-grade, drugs of some kind. Get him talking that way. We've tried the magic approach, but there are other approaches too.
I do think Grimith has something he's thinking about mentioning.
Yes. I'm going to attribute this to Truthsayer, his head hurting. And because, blood vessels burst inside his body. Truthsayer is going to be leaning against the wall and go, well, there's the girl. She's actually active. She was wielding a flamethrower that I pointed out whenever we made the raid on the warehouse to retrieve the dwarf girl for the last run.
What about her?
Well, she's the daughter of the mother who is the proprietor of this establishment.
Are you saying we can use the daughter to get to the sun?
I'm saying that there are many options through which we can use to blackmail this damn rabbit so that he's actually worth our time to keep alive. Because if he stays alive much longer, we might be dealing with the people who are trying to find him. And they might not try a retrieval mission so much as a detonate a bomb to destroy this entire bolt hole mission.
Right. That was my thought as well. That's why I suggested we might want to take him with us or move him. A moving target might be easier. We need to know for sure how they're tracking him, though.
It's likely nothing that we can't do anything about. I can't sever the mystical link that exists on the astral world of a spell he might have cast 14 days ago.
Is there a way that we could take him to, say, a fairly toxic region, one that would just dampen his signal somehow? I mean, Coyote has no idea how it works, so neither does the player, actually.
Let me go ahead and say what truth they almost certainly know. There's two major ways. One is obviously high background count, makes it difficult to work through things like that. The other is warding. If you put him inside a ward, it's the ward adds, I think it subtracts dice from their searches for him. That said, if they've already found him, they just need to keep a relatively close eye on him, and they'll know when he goes into ward and where about he'll be in the ward. So,
Sarah frowns. Because he doesn't like where that's going.
you can also rent wards by the hour.
Yeah, doesn't like that either. Because anyone who's going to create a ward strong enough to prevent anyone from finding him is going to be a pretty powerful person to create such a ward. Because that's beyond Truthsayer's means to create that powerful enough of a ward. I think. Because he's only Force 5.
I believe you can overcast wards. I'm not sure, but I know you can at least cast them at the level of your magic. And any sorcerer, anyone that can... I'm not sure about Mystic Adept. I know any sorcerer can go ahead and make a ward.
Take a check to see whether wards are mentioned here in specific on the Awakened World section. Here we go. The maximum area that can be warded is the creator's magic attribute times 50 cubic meters. Group of characters, and that's not important. The number of firms and freelance magicians contract to maintain wards. I don't need that to be existent, because I can maintain it. A basic ward must be placed on a non-living thing, and it must possess a physical anchor. The warding ritual takes a number of hours equal to the force of the ward and requires no special materials. At the end of the ritual, make a magic plus willpower test. Hit score determine the number of weeks the ward lasts before dissolving. Creating wards is a draining task. Each participant suffers drain equal to the ward's force. If the ward's force exceeds the character's magic attribute, the damage is physical. Okay, so same rules with the spells then. It would take me a number of hours equal to the force of the ward. Shit.
Of course, you have to remember that if they've tracked him, they know where he is. If you create it on, like, this place, they just know he's behind a ward now. That's it.
Yep. Sure says. Well, we can move him. Afterwards, I can attempt to create a ward by which him being tracked, whoever's tracking him would no longer be capable of doing so. I did not do this prior, because it would take 5 or 6 hours at least, and I wanted to see whether I could break his mind first. That being said, seeing as how he might be a little bit beyond me in that aspect too, or I'm just not lucky, it's a possibility. It could stop the tracking effect, or at least hamper it considerably.
Can you put up a ward in a moving vehicle? Or does it have to be stationary?
To my knowledge, it has to be stationary. It has to be focused on like a physical anchor.
It has to be stationary in relative to the Earth.
Yeah. It has to also be placed on a non-living thing. Like, I could ward the bolt hole here.